So the reason why I think this method works is because let's go back to that example we were saying before, where if you had a million keywords, and just for the sake of simplicity, let's assume within this ad group, all of these keywords are pretty similar, meaning they're either all non-brand or they're all brand. You should be doing that. You should be like separating your brand and non-brand keywords at the campaign level at least. Um, and even getting more granular, you can do different stages of the funnel with these keywords, whether they're super long tail and bottom of funnel versus short tail, top of funnel. So it'll definitely be advantageous to you to, and this method will work a lot better if you do have that kind of segmentation. But even without it, it's still going to be pretty, you're going to get some pretty good results with this method. But if you have those 10 keywords, we said there were 10 keywords, let's say they're all in one ad group, one of them has a sale, the other nine don't. And let's just say all 10 keywords all have one click. So you got one with one click and one sale, the other all with one click and no sales. Traditional, I guess, wisdom would say because all these other keywords are low visibility for the last 30 days, they only got one click. We're going to classify them as low visibility. We're going to increase these bids by 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever it may be. And that's usually the end of the logic. And where I see that start to cause issues is you do start seeing these bids start climbing up into like the $1, $2, $5 range as those like low visibility keywords aren't actually low visibility. They're maybe just low search volume. And therefore they're always only going to ever get one click within a 30-day window. And if you're just always kind of perpetually raising these bids ad infinitum, you're going to run into some issues. So how we're going to solve this is, yes, we are going to increase these bids, but we're going to have a kind of like a smart bid ceiling or a bid ceiling that's like using some intelligence here for where that's going to cut off. Because the other mistake I see a lot of people do is they'll just pick an arbitrary value, just like at $3, we're done. And they apply that at like the whole account level. But I think if we tailor everything down to an individual ad group level, we can be a lot more specific because each ad group is going to have different levels of conversion rates, different average order values, all these kinds of things. So to kind of try to complete my example here, when you have these 9 non-converting keywords, you can raise those bids up to 10%, but you want by 10%, but you want to absolutely make sure that you don't exceed the ad group's kind of target cost per click. Because if you have one, so let's say you have one keyword here in this ad group, and it's got like let's say your target A cost is like 30%, right? And you have that one keyword, and let's just say that one keyword, it spent $1 and it got a $10 sale. And so it's doing pretty good. It's a 10% A cost. And you're like, oh, cool, I can raise the bid on this keyword because it's really low A cost. And you got all the other 9 keywords all also spent $1 with one click. But when you zoom out and you look at the total ad group, you're now seeing you have $10 of spend across 10 clicks that only got you $10 in sales. So the whole ad group is at 100% A cost. And so this ad group now is telling us, okay, that's great that one keyword happens to get a sale after one click, but we know on average for this whole conversion group, for this whole ad group, the average conversion rate's about 10%. And because our average order value is around $10, we know that $1 cost per click is not affordable on average. And so what we would need to do is we would say, okay, well, doing the revenue per click method, right? That, $10 in sales divided by 10 clicks, you're averaging about a dollar in revenue with every click. And if indeed your target A cost is around 30%, that would say that your average cost per click should be about 30 cents. And on average, out of every 10 clicks that you're getting, one of those is going to result in that $10 sale. And so then at the ad group level, you should be able to hit that. So what this basically means is that our ceiling here should be around 30 cents. You could sometimes double it if you want to give a little bit more flexibility, give a little bit more room for these keywords to run. But it's very, very important to at least be cognizant of what the individual ad group's kind of target cost per click should be. And use that as your ceiling. And maybe you can let your keyword bids go a little bit above that ceiling if you're really trying to see if this keyword's going to convert, things like that. So that's basically the method that I've been using, and I've seen some really good results on my clients for.
Okay. So just to recap, the way you calculate the ceiling bid is total sales divided by your paid sales, divided by your paid clicks, times your A cost. That gives you the ceiling that you should assign to the ad group.
Hmm.
And then the individual keywords, you should adjust accordingly. And you should never go above the ceiling when you are assigning. Is that the case?
Yeah. So here's the thing. That 30 in that example, that 30-cent cost per click, that's on average what our cost per click should be. That doesn't mean everything in there should be exactly a 30-cent cost per click, because you
Yeah.
will have some keywords that perform better, that convert better than others, right? And so what I'll typically do is, and if you really want to get granular with this, you can look at, within, all your keywords that have a lot of data, what's kind of the spread of conversion rate? Like how big is that? What's the mathematical scientific term for that? Standard deviation.
Right.
Which I'm not even sure if I'm using that word right. I've just heard that used, so I'm trying to sound smart. But if the standard deviation on those conversion rates, let's just say like they can range in a difference of like 2 times, where your lowest converting keyword to your highest converting keyword, there's like a 2x difference. Then if your average cost per click should be around 30 cents, you can set the ceiling at double that, 60 cents per click is your hard cap ceiling, which is basically saying, hey, if one of these low visibility keywords happens to convert twice, 2 times as strong as our average for this ad group, we're gonna try to make room for that, to let us get up there in case if there's a keyword that performs twice better than average. And so that you could do that, but the whole purpose of this exercise is to prevent against these keywords getting up to $1. Because what I'll hear people say is like, oh man, when this bid was at $1, I lowered it to 60 cents. I was trying to do what you said, and I lost all of my visibility. Now I'm not getting any impressions, any clicks. And I'm like, okay, well, when it was at $1, you were losing money. So you're either going to be losing money or losing impressions. Like, you can't, I'm sorry that I can't come up with a bidding formula that causes you to get a cheaper cost per click and more sales simultaneously. That's not how it works. Amazon's a competitive space. If you're in that environment, then where you can't basically afford, and I made up this example a couple months ago and I really like it, but you can't always afford visibility, right? Like, I would love to drive around in a Lamborghini, because all of the impressions I would get, to kind of draw on some marketing analogy, like all the eyes that would be on me, all the visibility I would get if I was in a Lambo, that'd be awesome. I can't afford a Lamborghini though. So you have to be realistic with what you can and can't afford. And so this keyword that the market price, the auction is pricing it at $1 CPC to really get good visibility, you can't afford that if your target A cost is 30%. So now you've got to make a decision. Are you going to raise your target A costs on this keyword specifically, or on this product, or on this ad group, on this campaign strategy, whatever? That's a business decision you need to make if you're willing to invest a little bit at a loss, raise that target A cost so that you can afford that additional visibility. Or you've got to go do something on your product listing itself, improve the product listing to improve those conversion rates, which will allow you to basically increase the performance of these keywords so you can bid more.
Yeah.